Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am your muse, Tracy, and I am here to empower you and inspire you to live the life of your dreams, to create on purpose exactly what you want in all areas of your life, to stop settling, to stop suffering. You are not here to do either one of those things. If that sounds good to you, please come and join me, and you're welcome to join this channel and check out what I'm up to, the work that I'm up to, and to dive into learning to manifest your life on a deeper level. So I am super excited about this video today. And before we get into it, I just want to go over some of my current offerings and, let you guys know that I have lots of new different levels of support, different levels of offerings, all the way from a free course that is actually going to help you tremendously if you are struggling to manifest what you want. And it's going to go deeper into helping you understand some of the key fundamentals, and it's completely free. So all the way from a free course all the way up to, unlimited one-on-one coaching with me. I have group coaching available. I have courses, and I even have upcoming in-person retreats in the works. Stay tuned for that. So you can find out more about all of these things on my website. And if you have any questions at all, send me an email. I'll get back to you about that. But it's time to, invest in yourself. And if you're here watching this video, if you're learning about manifesting, if you're struggling to manifest, it's time maybe to invest in yourself and look at what are the reasons why you're not doing that? Because in my personal experience and in my personal opinion, investing in yourself is the smartest thing you can invest in ever, because you're investing in your ability. I mean, you already have the ability, but you're investing in your ability to create anything that you want in your life. This isn't just about, manifesting a specific person. I know I talk about that a lot, but if you know anything, if you've worked with me one-on-one, that is not the focus. I don't allow my clients to just focus on that, because why would you? If you know that you're creating everything, we are going to create in every area, not just this one area, because that doesn't make sense, right? So we're going deeper and creating in all areas of your life. So investing in yourself and sort of peeling back the layers of why you're struggling to do that when it's your birthright to do that is the absolute best investment that you could ever make in yourself. And again, like I said, I have so many new levels of support and offerings to help you. Again, all the way from a free course that is super valuable and will definitely help you break out of being stuck, all the way up to, unlimited private one-on-one support with me. So check it out. Okay, let's get into the video. This is all about how to create your breakthrough in manifesting. And in order to create your breakthrough, meaning, what do I mean by breakthrough? I mean getting out of the feeling of being stuck, getting out of feeling like you're just stuck in cycles, getting out of, waiting mode. We're not waiting. Waiting doesn't make sense. So getting out of these unwanted patterns that we have all found ourselves in. When we learn about manifesting, we all go through this, okay? So you're not doing something wrong. You're not bad at manifesting. None of these things are true. But if you are in a place where you're waiting for your breakthrough, that's what this video is all about. You're not waiting for the breakthrough, you create the breakthrough. And that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. I'm going to teach you how to create your own breakthrough. So what does that mean exactly? Well, it means that you, in order to get out of those things that I listed, feeling stuck, feeling like you're in cycles, you have to break out of the illusion of the 3D reality. But what does that mean? What does that even mean? Well, breaking out of the illusion of 3D reality means that you free yourself up to hold in your consciousness things outside of your 3D reality experience. This is the number one thing that I see keeping people stuck. They because this is what we've been trained, and we've been taught to be realistic and don't be silly and don't be, don't get your head stuck in the clouds or whatever people say. We've been taught to keep your feet on the ground and, yeah, all of these things that are based on past experiences, what other people have been able to do and achieve, and logically what's going to happen, and what they have seen or sensed with their five senses. We are taught to give our belief and our attention and our focus only to those things. And we are almost trained and taught to think that only what I can sense with my five senses is what's real. And this is what I'm calling the illusion of 3D reality. You have to break out of this habit of only giving your attention and your belief and your focus to what you've ever experienced in your 3D reality, because this is a very small, teeny tiny fraction of what actually exists. Creation is finished, all possibilities exist, but you only see this tiny, teeny tiny fraction. So if you keep operating in this illusion where you think that what you can sense with your five senses is all that is, you are only believing in a tiny fraction, 0.001% of all of creation. You are limiting yourself. You're doing it to you. You are stuck in the illusion of 3D reality. So in order to break out of the illusion of 3D reality, you have to first and foremost remember creation is finished. What I can sense with my five senses is only a teeny tiny fraction. It is not all that is, and it's not all that's real. Now, in addition to that, it's helpful to understand who you are and what your 3D reality is and how you relate to your 3D reality. So I know you've all heard this before, who you are and what 3D reality is, but what I'm going to zero in on what I'm going to zero in on in this video, that's a tongue twister, is how you relate to your 3D reality. So you are the creator of your reality. 3D reality is a mere reflection of you. It is what you hold deeply to be true within your awareness, within your consciousness, within your belief system, within your programming, and within the shadow aspects of yourself. So this is what you are, and this is what 3D reality is, but how do you relate to your 3D reality? So you have a set of programs. Also, I would refer to that as sort of like a filter. So how you relate to your 3D reality is through this set of programs or through this filter that is either conscious or sometimes it can be subconscious, deeply subconscious. And you relate to the 3D reality through a mechanism called projection. And this is also known as, you giving meaning to your 3D reality. Everything in your 3D reality is meaningless by default. It's neutral by default. But you interact with your 3D reality, relate to your 3D reality through giving things meaning and judging things. You give it the meaning, and if the meaning is good, you judge it as good. If the meaning is bad, you judge it as bad. And this meaning that you are giving to things is also known as projection. And the meaning that you're giving to things isn't the real meaning, isn't the actual meaning. There is no ultimate actual meaning. It's created by you. This is why, put 5 different people in the same scenario, in the same circumstance. The 5 different people have their own set of programming, their own set of filters, and so they project their own meaning onto the circumstances that are quote unquote the same, but each person projects their own meaning onto it according to their programming. And then because of the meaning they project onto it, they have the experience according to the meaning that they project onto it. So this is how you relate to your 3D reality. Everything is empty and meaningless, but you have the experience according to your own projection. And where does your projection come from? Your projection comes from your programming or from your deeply denied shadow. So these things aren't exactly the same, but they're very similar. The programming is sometimes so hidden, so subconscious, so denied by you, you're not aware of it. And that is also what is referred to as your shadow, the shadow aspects of you. So if you can start to understand what is deeply hidden in your subconscious programming, which is what I'm here to help you do in my coaching, when you can understand that, it creates a sort of separation from that. If you don't have the awareness of your programming or your shadow aspects, you are deeply identified with those things because you don't recognize that that's just one aspect or that's one layer. You know, these are all terms that, you know, are sort of interchangeable. But just by looking at the programming, acknowledging what's in your programming, you start to be able to disidentify with it. And when you disidentify with something, that's when you have more freedom to change it. If you think you are the programming, if you think you are the deeply subconscious buried thoughts about yourself, if you, in other words, identify with those ideas, programs that were never yours to begin with, by the way, if you identify with those, it's much, much more challenging to change them. But when you start to disidentify with those programs, you can change them much more easily because you understand that this is just one part of your, you know, it's not even part of your identity. Your identity at the core of who you are is infinite love, abundance, powerful, empowered. You know, these are really the truths. But we all have different aspects about ourselves that, you know, we get to choose. We have the light and the dark within us. And when you recognize both, when you acknowledge both and you accept both, then you get to choose. But if you don't acknowledge a piece of you, let's say the dark sides, the negative, quote unquote, negative aspects, there's no negative really. It's, again, that's judgment. And it just is. We all have these aspects that, you know, again, we have a choice to operate from these quote unquote negative aspects or not. But denying that those aspects exist within us, keeping them suppressed, keeping them denied, keeping them buried in the shadow, causes them to subconsciously run the show. This is what Carl Jung talked about when he said, you have to make the unconscious conscious. Otherwise, you know, it runs your life, it runs the show, so to speak, and you will call it fate. Well, I'm just destined to be, you know, without fill in the blank, whatever it is that you want. When no, you're not destined to be without what you want. That is not the truth. You simply have a subconscious, buried, deeply denied program that is running the show and causing you to be without what it is that you desire, whether that's money, love, success, you know, whatever it is. You're not meant to be without anything. There is no lack. There is no lack. It's an illusion. This is part of the illusion that you will break out of when you, again, start to understand who you are, what 3D reality is, and more importantly, how you relate to your 3D reality, and break out of the illusion of, you know, buying into that initial projection. The key to having your breakthrough is recognizing that your initial projection is only one option. The meaning that you immediately project onto things, that subconscious program, is one option. But if you're in the illusion of the 3D reality, then here comes the meaning from your subconscious programming, your denied shadow self. Here's the meaning. And you don't even know that you have an option. And most likely that meaning probably isn't the best meaning, right? So you give it the meaning and you are completely in the illusion. You're in the falsity that that's the only meaning. That's the one and only possible meaning. So it's going to be very challenging for you to have a breakthrough in manifesting and creating everything that you want when you are giving things unconscious, denied shadow aspects of yourself meanings from this denied shadow aspect of yourself. It's going to be very difficult for you to have a breakthrough. I'm not going to say you can't. Everything is possible. But if you want to have the breakthrough of knowing your own power and understanding what it means to create your reality, this is what you have to break out of. So that initial deeply subconscious meaning might still come out, but when you are creating your breakthrough, you recognize that. You see the meaning that you just gave to something, and if it is an unwanted, unfavorable meaning, you know you have a choice and you know you can change that. And so you change that. And when you start changing the meaning that you're projecting onto your circumstances, guess what changes? You change and you start to change. You stop being reactive to your 3D reality. You stop being moved around like a pawn on a chessboard by your 3D reality, and you start to stand in your creator mode, creator seat. And your reality is always responding to you. It's not going to start responding to you. It's always been responding to you. But you are breaking the habit of being moved around by your 3D reality. Because when you do that, again, there's no breakthrough coming because you're being moved around by 3D reality. You're still struggling to create the reality that you want because 3D reality is moving you all around. You have to stop that in its tracks. You have to stand firm in your knowing of who you are, in your creator mode, in your creator seat. And when you do that, 3D reality is going to follow you. Again, it's always following you. But you are taking the first step out of that loop of it's following you, you're following it. You're taking the step out of that because, again, you understand who you are, what 3D reality is, and how you relate to it. Now you're going to break out of the illusion of only believing what you see there. You free yourself up to hold in your mind, your consciousness, exactly what you want, and 3D reality will start to follow that. Again, it's always following you. It's not just going to start following you, but you've broken out of the endless loop and cycle of I'm following it, it's following me, and now we're stuck in a loop. Is this making sense? Feel free to rewatch this as many times as you need to, but this is how you get your breakthrough in manifesting. And this is, yes, in regards to manifesting a specific person, manifesting more money and abundance, manifesting anything that you want, a job, manifesting a better version of anyone. It can be a specific person. It's not just a romantic, relationship partner. Any specific person, anything, there are no limits, okay? And again, this all comes back to understanding yourself, understanding your 3D reality and how you relate to it. You create your breakthrough in manifesting exactly what it is that you want by breaking out of the illusion of the 3D reality. You have to be willing to take a step back and break out of that illusion and free yourself up from only believing what's shown up in your 3D reality. Again, this is the biggest thing that I see keeping people stuck. They learn all of this, but deeply, very deeply, they keep going back to what they've seen in their 3D reality. Now, why is that? I want to touch on this. I know this is like getting to the end of the video, but this is super important. Why do they keep going back to what they see in the 3D reality, even when they know about manifesting? Well, the reason is because what they see in the 3D reality is their own projection. It's their own belief system. So they're stuck in the cycle of believing something, witnessing as true, you know, because there it is, it showed up. And then seeing it in the 3D reality and allowing that to reinforce the previous belief system, again, that was probably never theirs to begin with. And then there it goes again. And there, you see, this is the cycle. And you create your breakthrough by breaking out of the illusion of 3D reality. 3D reality is not calling the shots. Never has, it never will. You are the one calling the shots. So you have to break out of taking your cue from 3D reality and letting your 3D reality move you around from place to place. This is what I love talking about. So super excited about this video. Leave me a comment down below. And also, if you have any video suggestions, please let me know. If you want to work with me, you can find everything on my website. I'm here to support you. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.